Hello, this is Kerry Shamblin with the monthly Vedic Astrology forecast for February 2024. First, a summary from the 9 planets. The Sun. The winter months see the Sun traversing the signs of Saturn, whose environments reflect the cold, hard, Saturnine nature. Our challenge is to shine even though, and to find the inner light that sustains and propels us. On February 13th, the Sun moves from Earth-based Capricorn to air-based Aquarius, both Saturn's domains. But Aquarius has the added element of idealism and community support, and Saturn is currently sitting in Aquarius, so the theme in February could weigh the scales toward the collective at the expense of individual demands. The Moon. The moon is waning at the beginning of February, sliding into home for the new moon in Capricorn on February 9th. The focus this month is on Saturn's signs, so prepare to take responsibility for situations that are yours. Move through them and work with what is in front of you. The moon then begins to grow, moving away from the major snag of planets stretching from Capricorn to Aries. On February 24th, the moon reaches fullness in Leo. With the entourage of planets moving through Aquarius opposite the moon, we will still be working with the energy of collective needs and desires outweighing individual agenda items through February and into March. Mars. Mars is the planet of power, force, drive, and strategy. February features Mars in his very best position, moving through the sign of Capricorn from February 5th through March 15th. This is a hard-working planet and a hard-working sign, so plan some projects that require discipline, strength, fortitude, and dive in. The first part of Mars through Capricorn could be good for efficiency, stability, and strategy. And then enter Venus, bringing suggestions of comfort, beauty, and accessibility. Prepare in advance for design challenges that require both function and attractiveness. Mercury. Mercury is on the move in February, moving through Capricorn from February 1st through the 19th, and then ascending into Aquarius from February 19th through March 6th. Joining with Mars in Capricorn, we have such potential for productivity and forward pushes on the project front. With Mercury ruling communication and exchange, carrying the torch of keeping things moving, and analysis in real time, we could succeed in some serious networking, writing, and content creation. Both Capricorn and Aquarius are friendly environments for Mercury, encouraging us to focus our enthusiasm on investing in our long-term goals. Jupiter. Expansive Jupiter will pass through Mars's fire sign Aries until May 1st, where he then begins a year-long transit through Venus's earth sign Taurus. That leaves February, March, and April for Jupiter to send his positive vibes into the fire signs, giving us clarity for the road ahead. Since the new year, Jupiter has been in a good mood to assist in growth, healing, education, and truth-finding. Try to tap into this positive and uplifting tide as you make plans for the big new ventures. Venus. Venus is the planet we appeal to for love, beauty, art, romance, and social satisfaction. Venus finishes her transit through Jupiter's Sagittarius on February 11th. Let this first week of February ignite your creative juices as you set forth on a new adventure of creative collaboration. Venus transits Capricorn from February 11th to March 6th, which could be a fantastic stretch for tapping into a passionate channel of design, creation, and fulfilling work, either solo or with a team. Saturn. Slow-moving Saturn continues to plod through his own air sign, Aquarius. This transit stretches from February 25th, 2023 through March 29th, 2025. Saturn begins to get some company in February as the Sun and inner planets begin to make their way through the star space ruled by Saturn and Rahu. Aquarius is a dynamic environment that reflects the truth that with freedom comes responsibility. February and March will be a good time to study the dynamics of individual impact on social fabric. Fighting for the underdog and providing support for the marginalized are good choices. Rahu, the north node of the moon. Rahu is the head of the celestial dragon, moving through Pisces from November 2023 through May of 2025. Rahu's effects can cause churning and turmoil in the water element this year, which could be fun in a water slide type of situation, but not so fun in a tidal wave. Rahu traverses the zodiac in reverse motion and will be slithering through the late degrees of Pisces, which is the lunar sector of Revati, through June of 2024. Think about all at once integrating old lessons while consuming new ones, making an exciting chain of knowledge digestion that translates straight into the choices that lie ahead. Ketu is the south node of the moon. From November 2023 through May 2025, Ketu will occupy the dual earth sign of Virgo. Like Rahu, Ketu walks backward through the constellations and is currently placed in Mercury's earth sign. Virgo allows for multitasking, strong digestion, and health improvements. Ketu's mystical and intuitive approach could assist in soldiering through health issues and making lasting routine changes. In February, Ketu will begin to move from Chitra to Hasta Nakshatra, giving us a slight channel change that may feel a bit more gentle and less urgent. Let yourself settle into your own body and listen to what it is telling you that it needs. For an in-depth analysis of specific planetary placements, please continue to listen to the full planetary forecast. Rahu in Pisces, Ketu in Virgo, with Jupiter in Aries all month long. The February 2024 forecast will focus strongly on Saturn's signs, Capricorn and Aquarius. So let's review the planets who will not be passing through Saturn's signs this month. Rahu continues to settle into Pisces, the oceanic final sign of the zodiac, ruled by expansive Jupiter. With Rahu's unpredictable yet remarkably rhythmic actions beginning to ripple out into the cosmic ocean that is represented in the Piscean sector of space since late 2023, we may be adjusting to radical channel changes. Rahu represents our collective and individual desire for the multifaceted range of experience as conscious souls operating on the earth plane, encased in separate bodies, driving separate vehicles. If this seems risky, chaotic, exciting, and inevitable, then you are understanding how Rahu affects life on Earth. Through May of 2025, Rahu motors through Pisces, which may cause disturbances that radiate through the water element. Wherever Rahu swims, his influence extends into all signs of the same element. So with Pisces strongly feeling Rahu, we may also experience erratic tides in the signs of Cancer and Scorpio throughout this 1.5-year stretch. Rahu's chaotic methodology doesn't always result in a negative sum. When observed thoughtfully, Rahu's influences can be harnessed or ridden with positive results. Risk assessment is important in reckoning how Rahu's transits may help or hinder us. Remain curious, ready, and aware in order to catch the right wave. Remember, there is a portion of Rahu expressing through every bit of life on Earth, plants, animals, and humans alike. While having the reputation of a worldly materialist, there are aspects of Rahu that lead us on the straight path toward a spiritual life. As co-ruler of the sign of Aquarius with Saturn, we can translate the designation of 11th sign of zodiac into what we can expect from the 11th house of a horoscope, which is hard-earned gains from a devoted push toward improvement. This shows us how the desire nature of Rahu can be pushed toward positive goals. The desires of Rahu do not always have to be suppressed, especially if they are growth-oriented and healthy desires that won't lead to abuse or debasement. The water signs and water element allow us to explore the realms of love, connection, nourishment, spirituality, inner transformation, and devotion. Let us collectively celebrate these positive aspects of life on Earth as Rahu snorkels his way through Pisces in 2024 and through May of 2025. While Rahu plays the part of Captain Jack Sparrow, his counterpart and anchor, Ketu, will be plowing through Virgo through May of 2025. Rahu and Ketu were once joined as one being, and having been through an incident which separated head from body, but did not cause loss of life, Rahu is the disembodied but fully functioning head, containing all the gifts that a head implies: brain, senses, and command central. Ketu is the headless body, free of mental fluctuations, ready to process orders with precision, and finely tuned to pick up subtle vibrations. Virgo is Mercury's earth sign, associated with digestion, medicines, health, and with the duality of harming or healing that so easily influences the balance of our wellness. Ketu is associated with the body, with liberation practices such as mindfulness and meditation, and with the protection of the body through physical practices such as Tai Chi, yoga, and other martial arts. Use this next year plus to soldier yourself into a new commitment to health by rewiring, reigniting, and reversing how you manage your self-care, food, and medicine. Ketu is associated with tiny machines, like watches or software. Perhaps the right watch or app could help you keep your health on track. Mercury, ruler of Virgo, and Ketu, when combined, can help us to break through what is difficult to break. Through a magical combination of intuition, technology, and analysis, we could bust through difficult blocks during the transit of Ketu through Virgo. Be objective with your problem solving and recognize that getting into a groove can quickly transform into riding in a rut, for better or worse. Our lives are governed by organic processes that demand constant tweaking. Stay tuned in and be ready to rewire when needed. Jupiter, ruler of Pisces, where Rahu is bobbing along, will remain in forward motion through the sign of Aries until he shifts signs on May 1st. Thus, we have a few months of Jupiter leading our charge, which translates as a strong, positive, and growth-dedicated force, set and ready to initiate change for good. Jupiter also has aspect power into signs of the same element, which means that through April, the fire signs are receiving a positive boost from Jupiter. Leo specifically will be receiving from both Jupiter and Saturn, making that sign a potent cauldron for careful growth. Mercury transits Capricorn from February 1st through the 19th. During the last week of January, Mercury overtakes Mars in the last degrees of Sagittarius and pushes his way into Capricorn on February 1st for a rapid transit, moving through Saturn's Earth-based sign until February 19th when he transitions to Aquarius. Mercury is comfortable in Capricorn, an environment that is symbolized by the determined and nimble goat climbing up a steep mountain. The Capricorns among us are often seen as determined, dependable, and serious. Mercury and Saturn have the desire for improvement in common, as well as the fact that they each rule one air sign and one earth sign. Here we see the clue that thought and intention, air signs, are necessary to improvement as effort and action, earth signs. What this boils down to is that February is going to be fantastic for getting it done. Let Mercury plan your days for maximum efficiency and effort. Watch out for multitasking, a common Mercury move. While the talent for dividing attention is there, really harness the brain and point it in one direction for now, as Mercury moves up the slope from February 1st through the 19th. Mars transits Capricorn from February 5th through March 15th. Moving at a slower pace, but with similar desire for efficiency and productivity, comes Mars following behind Mercury. Mars will move through his exaltation sign of Capricorn from February 5th through March 15th. The exchange of signs between Mars and Jupiter was quite amazing, while Mars was in Sagittarius from December 27th through February 5th. But we may also enjoy the exaltation of Mars in Capricorn just as much. Mercury has a ton of ideas about how to work and where the project could go. Mars implements the ideas and will strongly build as long as he has the necessary fuel and materials. In these forecasts, we discuss planets and signs and how their aspects also affect other signs. Depending upon the aspecting planets, this could make an environment vulnerable, strong, or unstable. At the moment, Capricorn is free from aspects thrown by the outer planets, which can create a framework of energy that strengthen, weaken, threaten, or support various signs. Just like we may like to find a quiet space to think or work, the planets moving through Capricorn will be operating under similar circumstances, with no aspects incoming to the workshop. This could be a clue to designate space so that work and effort can be focused without interruption. Not necessarily in an isolation mode, as Mercury, Mars, Sun, and Venus will be at once in Capricorn for a few days, indicating that we may be collaborating or partnering as we are accomplishing our Herculean feats. Mercury moves out of the scene relatively quickly, leaving Mars to interact with Venus alone toward the end of February and into March. Mars and Venus together will be brief, as Venus is moving quickly and will overtake Mars, leaving him to pursue her through the spring and summer months. In the context of work projects, Mars and Venus conjoining can be quite passionate and creative, which could translate as a positive explosion of creative forces or a difficult reckoning between function and aesthetics. We know in advance that both strength and beauty are important. This is a design challenge waiting to happen. Prepare accordingly and have fun fulfilling both requirements. Mars will pass through his exact exaltation at 28 degrees Capricorn on March 12th. There's a new moon in Capricorn, Dhanishta, February 9th. The first week of February sees the moon waning, and on February 9th, a Friday, moon will join Sun at 27 degrees Capricorn for the new moon of February. The luminaries are joined in Capricorn by busy and hardworking Mercury and Mars. New moon times can feel difficult due to low energy. Take it easy as you approach this nadir of the lunar cycle. As the work in progress begins to take form in Capricorn, this new moon moment could be a good time to step back and take inventory of parts and labor needed. Calculate costs and resketch alternatives in order to maximize efficiency and reduce waste, including unnecessary steps. Dhanishta Nakshatra spans equally between Capricorn and Aquarius, bridging Saturn's two signs under the rulership of Mars, who is also exalted in Dhanishta. The rhythm that is created by walking, climbing, working, or keeping time on a drum teaches us that in moments of fatigue or depression, it is momentum that keeps us going. Slow down and rest, but don't sit down and give up. Keep moving, even if it's slowly. Keep fueling the body, the vehicle, and the machine that is helping to do the work. It will take determination and fortitude to reach that alpine lake, shimmering like a jewel in the moonlit winter's night. Venus transits Capricorn from February 11th through March 6th. Watching the dance of Venus and Mars as they move around the sun from our seat here on Earth can be instructive as we navigate our creative growth, relationship cycles, and power plays. Venus represents our capacity to connect, love, recognize beauty, and enjoy the fruits of the earth. Mars represents our tendency toward protection, power, and resources, without which we remain vulnerable and compromised. Venus represents the feminine and Mars the masculine. Venus represents water and Mars fire. The attraction between the two is strong, but sometimes the union can be messy. The last close encounter of Mars and Venus occurred in July of 2023, when Venus was pursuing Mars, just like now, in January of 2024. But then, Venus went retrograde in mid-July of 2023, almost as if giving up on ever connecting with Mars. Prior to that, the last time Venus overtook Mars and jetted ahead was February of 2022, in the late degrees of Sagittarius. By November of 2022, Venus was opposite retrograde Mars as they exchanged signs, which could have felt like another significant point in time. Since November of 2022, faster-moving Venus has been on the approach to Mars. The deal finally closes this month after over a year of pursuit. This intricate dance pattern of Mars and Venus taking turns pursuing one another, sometimes coming together, sometimes shying away at the last minute, sometimes opposing one another, really does sound like the story of many relationships. At this moment, we're in a chapter of the story where it seems both parties may be into exploring the difficult work of relationships, bravely expressing personal needs, and analyzing the level of concession needed. From February 20th until March 5th, Venus and Mars will be alone in that quiet workshop with no eyes on them, burning through the materials left and making the project look good while it begins to stand on its own. The environment of Capricorn is supportive without clinging. Personal responsibility in every case will lighten the load on all parties involved. The Sun transits Aquarius from February 13th through March 14th. Moving our attention to Saturn's other sign, Aquarius, we watch as the Sun moves from Capricorn to join Saturn himself in Aquarius from February 13th through March 14th. On average, Saturn spends 2.5 years in one sign. This will be the second of 3 meetings that Sun and Saturn will have in Aquarius during this Saturn transit. Saturn, as representative of hard knocks and facts of life, has a tough job, reminding us that we are here to experience the karma that we have brought with us, that our time is limited, that our lifespans are finite, and that along the way we will quickly blossom and then slowly dry up. Like his friends, Venus and Mercury, he rules 1 earth sign and 1 air sign. Capricorn, Saturn's earth sign, is known as a hard-working environment that requires determination and discipline as foundations for climbing that mountain slope. Aquarius is Saturn's air sign and is like that alpine lake in the thin air that you reach after that long climb. If you have ever reached such a place on this earth, you will know that it could be calm and peaceful, or it could be that the wind rages and the cold bites. We assign co-rulership of Aquarius to Rahu, who brings in the stormy wild card energy of Aquarius. While the workshop environment will continue in Capricorn, the Sun, moving to Aquarius, joining Saturn, could begin to move the work along to the publishing and production phase, strengthening a continuum of creation that begins to join the signs starting in Capricorn and finishing up in Aries. This could indicate that multiple stages of development could happen simultaneously, and the feeling of things finally flowing into place may pay a visit. Mercury transits Aquarius from February 19th through March 6th. Speaking of moving the projects, relationships, and trajectories along, Mercury keeps us skipping with him as he joins Sun and Saturn in Aquarius on February 19th, beginning a quick transit that allows him to springboard into Pisces with Rahu on March 6th. Aquarius is higher ground, giving an opportunity for good analytical perspective. Mercury, the multitasker, could be more effective here, dividing attention between production and packaging, keeping the continuum moving. Any friction that may be felt between Sun and Saturn could be smoothed somewhat by friendly Mercury. This is a clue that communication is key to bridging conflicts during this time. The Sun and Saturn are known rivals, with the Sun representing individual achievement and expression, and Saturn standing for the power of community and collective welfare. Approach conflict with curiosity rather than criticism. Venus and Mars conjunction in Capricorn on February 22nd. On February 22nd, Venus will conjoin and overtake Mars. In some stories, we call this a tryst. In others, planetary war, which occurs when 2 planets occupy the same degree of the zodiac. When the faster moving planet approaches the degree that the slower moving planet occupies, the faster moving planet is losing the war. When the faster moving planet overtakes the slower planet, it is then winning the war, which will be over when that quicker planet moves beyond 1 degree away from the slower planet. Therefore, Venus loses to Mars on February 20th and 21st, and then Mars loses to Venus on February 22nd and 23rd. This short stretch could be a pivot point for creative projects, relationships, and battles driven by passion or control. Fight with honor, because no one may be watching except the enemy. Love unconditionally through difficult situations, because you alone will live with the results of your actions. Create with responsibility, because everybody will be affected by each of the ripples we make. There's a full moon in Leo Magha Nakshatra on February 24th. The final celestial event of February comes with the full moon in Leo on February 24th. The moon will be full at 11 degrees Leo in the nakshatra of Magha, while the Sun, Mercury, and Saturn group up opposite to the moon in the sign of Aquarius, all within the nakshatra of Shatabhishak. Even though the nodal axis, Rahu and Ketu, currently sit in Pisces and Virgo, this full moon brings forth the energy of Rahu and Ketu through the nakshatras where the moon and sun are sitting. Magha Nakshatra, where the moon becomes full, is ruled by Ketu, and Shatabhishak Nakshatra, which holds the trio of Sun, Mercury, and Saturn, is ruled by Rahu. Additionally, Aquarius sign is co-ruled by Rahu. Without the actual eclipse energy, this full moon may bring events that seem unexpected, out of bounds, or destined. Shatabhishak Nakshatra is ruled by Rahu, but is associated with forms of radical healing. The wisdom of Shatabhishak shows us that healing comes in many forms, from natural forms like herbs and yoga, to technological forms like UV light, radiation, or chemotherapy. During the last week of February, look up with wide eyes and allow yourself to perceive the normal with a new perspective, seeing the magical in the mundane and the potential in what seems to be passé. 2024 is a leap year, with Thursday, February 29th, extending February by one more day. With Mars aspecting Jupiter and Jupiter aspecting the moon on that day, it could be a good time to exercise that courage, faith, and enthusiasm and leap for that further shore. March 2024 headlines. Mercury transits Pisces from March 6th through the 25th. Venus transits Aquarius from March 6th through the 31st. New moon in Aquarius, Purvabhadra, on March 10th. Sun transits Pisces from March 14th through April 13th. Mars transits Aquarius, March 15th through April 22nd. There is a full moon in Virgo, Hasta Nakshatra, on March 25th, which also results in a penumbral lunar eclipse. Mercury enters Aries on March 25th. Venus transits Pisces from March 31st through April 24th. Thank you for listening to the February 2024 forecast with Kerry Shamblin. Tune in for the next chapter in March.